Hi, on today's lessons, we try to demonstrate the last part in configuring a Spring container. This time, we'll make use of pure Java codes. And with this demonstration, we show it by using a setter method, constructor method, field injections, and with the use of properties file. As we have discussed before, Spring Container can be configured either by XML configuration file, Java annotations with a simpler XML, and last but not the least, this time, we're going to use pure Java codes and will not use any XML. Still, we're going to work on a school app that uses a Java codes configuration class. Our school app can handle school records either by students or employee. Our employee here is the instructor. They share common methods, but their behavior is different when performing same method. So this would be our implementing class diagram on how we're going to do it. From previous diagrams that we have used so far, we don't have this school app config. So we'll create a new class that will configure as that will configure school app, and by then it will be implemented on the objects interfaces in delivering the school app. Still, we are going to use some Java annotations here, but the component annotation is no longer used. Okay, let's start. Okay, so let's start a new project. Call this one Spring Java Codes. Click finish to create. No? Okay. So I think we close other projects. Okay, so this would be our concentration. Okay, let us start from the scratch since this would be our last demo in configuring a file. We'll make this quick. Let us create first the package. Let us first make our interface. Let us create the tool objects. Let's do our factory school record. Let's generate our constructor and a blank constructor. Generate the toString method. Okay, so we jump in creating object school app, store it on this package. So what we need to do, define the container. Next, we read the bin, print school record, then we close container. Okay, before we continue, let us first set our Spring libraries. We forgot to do that. So we go here, right click, build path, configure build path, class path, external jar, go see Spring libraries, libs, select all, Control A, open, then apply. Okay, so next on our list is we create the school app config class. This is still stored on domain package. Right click, new class. After that, we annotate the class. So with annotation configuration, we import configuration stored on context annotation. So first we define a bin or school record. We say public school record school. So it's like a method, but this method would be the bin name of school record. So on this case, you're trying to instantiate a school record here. That is why, since this is a method, you need to return that as if you're instantiating a school record. That is why we put here return new school record. Our school record will deal with an interface with the two interface that we need to deal with is the student or instructor. So for now, we define the person that will be needed by the school record object factory. We say public person, and that person would be a student. Let me put here define bin for. So here you instantiate that person, but that person is a new student. Let us say this one. So our first approach is to use the setter method configuration. How do we do that? We go now on the school record. We make use of the setter method. That is why here I will annotate set ID. I'll place here at value 1, 2, 3, 4. You hover at value. Setter method for the name, you say John. And for the person, it's already known that the person is a student. So you don't need to qualify that. Okay, so, but these three to be used, you need to auto-wire it, or else Java will not know if you have used the setter method or this constructor or the other one, which is the Java reflections, the field injection. So on this case, we're trying to use the setter method. So you need to auto-wire this one over it, will be included. So this one and this one. Okay, so this is setter method. Next is we go back on our school app. Before we keep repairing on an XML file, but this time we're going to use annotation config application context. So this would be our object. So that means the object name would be context. And that would be new. Just copy this one. Okay. Over it. Import. Let's work on our import. And here we supply the .class of school config, school app config. Semicolon, school app config. Okay, so we need to import school app config. Next is we read the bean. So it's the same. We say school record. We say this is record. That would be context get bean, and the bean ID would be the small letter of school record. We refer to this one, which is this one, school record. It's the same, so we don't need to put a bid name. It will be automatically detected. So we supply here school record. So that would be the bin name, and you're going to look for that at school record class. Okay, school record is not part. You just over it, import school record. It's there. And after that, we print the school records is out, and we close the container. Okay, save all. Okay, looks good to me. Let us run. Okay, so we have an error. Okay, so what happened here? No bin name school record. Okay, so this was not detected. School record. Maybe we forgot something. Let's go back. Okay, we forgot the bin annotation. There should be a bin annotation here. Over your mouse. The same with person. Let us save. We go back. Run. Okay, Java null pointer info AutoWord annotation should be public get person. So what happened? So the get person. Why get person? It should be set person. Let's go back. Committed an error here. It should be set person, not get person. So we remove this one, Control X. It should be set person. Okay, we save. We go back. Let us run again. Okay. So this is a student. We successfully configured our container using school app config. Okay. Jerry, how about if you're going to change it to a instructor? How do you going to do it? So you just go back here at school config and you define a new bean. So what would be that bean? That bean. So you define a bean for instructor. Remember, instructor is also a person. So always remember, Jerry, I think you violated your rule that every method name should be a verb that connotes action. But this time it would be an exception, so we don't need to put a bin ID. That is why we use the name of the object or the name of the method. So the same here. So for public person, I'm going to use here instructor, and it needs to instantiate return new instructor. I think it's okay now, but which bin shall the school app use? Is it student or instructor? So we only need to choose one. And with that, that's the time you're going to use a qualifier. So you go back on school record, and instead here, you put a qualifier. So to make this a instructor, you say qualifier. That's the time you put here instructor. So it will choose the instructor instead of student. There is no qualifier here. So you just hover it, import qualifier, to make it a qualifier. So you save everything, you go back, and run. And your record would now be an employee or instructor.